Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with another Legions Imperialis video. I've done quite a few of these videos this week. I think this is my third. And obviously it's a 2-week pre-order, so I'll be doing a whole lot more next week, bringing you guys right up to the day where you will have it in your hands and you will be able to enjoy this game system yourself. But until then, I'm going to try and get as much content out as humanly possible so that when you get your models, you'll know where to start and what you want to do with them. So, previous videos that I've already done, I've already showed you how to paint up an entire box set of Space Marines in a single sitting. I did them in the Imperial Fist color schemes because that's the main Legion that I want to run in this game system. I then shifted across and showed you how to paint some tanks very quickly and very effectively. And then of course we did a solo Auxilia video, showed you how to paint the Sentinels and the Ogrins from that set. For today's video, I'm going to focus on a specific Legion, and that's going to be of course the main bad guys, the Sons of Horus, that beautiful teal armor color scheme. As you can see, I'm a fan of them. They're actually an army I have collected already. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to throw you an entire box set of Space Marines or anything like that. You guys know what to do. So I'm going to basically try and break it apart a little bit and show you all the information you need to know that you can go away and paint up your Legion in this color scheme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 10-man infantry squad in the color scheme. I'm going to do a Contemptor Dreadnought in the color scheme. I'm going to do a Predator, so you know how to do tanks and walkers. But then I'm also going to add in a base of 5 Terminators as well, because the Sons of Horus obviously have Abaddon's personal first Legion, the Justarian Terminators, and they're in black and red color schemes. I'm going to show you how to do those as well, so that by the end of this video, if Sons of Horus are for you, you'll know how to tackle the entire force. So hopefully this is an interesting video for you. Before I get into it, I just want to say 2 things. One, a huge thank you to all of my active patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing. Without you guys, I could not continue doing what I am doing. You keep the lights on and the cameras rolling. Now, having said that, one of the issues I'm having with Patreon right now is Patreon has just introduced a free to join option on the Patreon. So loads of people will jump across to my Patreon and see the free one, click on that, which obviously doesn't support me in any way, shape or form. And you get absolutely no rewards from that. You do not get access to the Discord, and you do not get access to the free video every single week for being a member. So you have to minimum jump in at the paint pot level, which is 360, to get access to all those benefits. Just so you're aware, I wish I could turn off the free option. I don't know what it's for. It's bizarre to me. And number 2, I have a goal that I'm going to try and hit 40,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. We are seeing quite a large surge of followers and subscribers in the last kind of couple of weeks, and I really hope to continue that big arc up until the new year. So if you guys can help me out and get to 40,000 subscribers by the end of this year, it would mean the world to me. All it does is click that button. It costs you nothing. It means absolutely everything to me. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to my bit of a rant at the beginning of the video. Let's get stuck into some Sons of Horus. Okay, so normally when I do the videos, like when I did the entire kind of box set of Space Marines, I just left them on the sprue. As I'm tempted to use this set to do a bunch of different color schemes, I decided it would probably be best to cut them out in case I'm spraying them differently. Show different examples. So all I did was I quickly glued them to some lollipop sticks. It's a very easy and effective way of painting up these guys as separate to the sprue, if that's what you're looking for. Same with the Terminators. Like I said, these beautiful cataphractic Terminators are going to be painted like the Justarian Terminators that the Sons of Horus are famed for. Abaddon's first company. I also have the Contemptor Dreadnought, which I've constructed with the Assault Cannon. Really nice model. Really small. Sometimes the video doesn't let you know how small these things truly are, but yeah. And then for the vehicle, I was going to do a Rhino, but I've got 6 Predators lying around, so I decided to do one of the Predators, which I think is a very Sons of Horus-y style vehicle as well. The models all got sprayed black and then sprayed grey seer. Imperial Fists were sprayed pure white in my video, but obviously the green armor of the Sons of Horus is a little bit darker, so I decided to go with the grey seer. And then I used Pterodon Turquoise Contrast. This is the same contrast that I use when I'm painting up my Sons of Horus army for normal 28mm scale. It's a beautiful kind of tealy turquoisey color that works on absolute treat over power armor. And obviously I'm starting with the normal infantry squad, 10-man strong, with a sergeant with a power sword and his beautiful, I don't know what it's called, a brushed helmet top thing. As you see, I am taking my time. I'm making sure that none of the paint pools. I know that will take a little bit of extra time per model, but I think it's worth it so you don't get these kind of big blobs of dark color running down legs and stuff, because these models are so small. If you give it the extra time, it will make a huge difference. And here's the first 5 guys. You can already see that color is pretty much perfect for Sons of Horus. I love how it turned out. and it's beautiful. So unlike other videos where I would go and show you all of these guys, and then I would jump and show you all of the tank, and then I would jump forward and show you all the Contemptor, is like separate pieces. I'm just going to do it as if I'm batch painting the entire force. So while I have Terradon Turquoise on my palette, I'm going to do all the other parts that need to be Terradon Turquoise. So for instance, on the Predator, I'm going to do the armor panels. Now I'm going to leave certain armor panels blank because I want to do them in black to kind of break up that turquoisey blue color. But if you are taking this video and you're just painting Contemptors, obviously you can just piece together what colors you want to use, or what colors you want to do if you want to do a squadron of Predators or whatever, and kind of take it from there. Which should be easy enough. I don't use crazy amounts of color. I don't think Epic or Legions Imperialis requires lots of colors, lots of paint, or lots of effort. You're basically just trying to get this force painted as quick as possible because there are so many of them to paint. You're talking, 25, 30 vehicles in an army. You're talking hundreds of infantry. You want these things to be very, very, very batch paintable. As you can see, I'm going to pull this across the turret as well. I'm going to do the round dome of the turret and the bit on the end of the barrel, not the tip of the barrel, the bit closest to the actual turret itself. And then of course we're going to jump over and do the Contemptor as well. What I tend to do is I tend to go to Google Images. And so I had a Sons of Horus tab open with just some Google images of the Sons of Horus Contemptor, Sons of Horus Predator, Justarians. And basically just went through and copied some of the kind of placement of color. So one of the ones I liked was for the Contemptor, for instance, he had a black shoulder pad and black like arm down to the elbow. And I thought that was just a nice little break to the green. So I followed suit and did the same thing. And obviously with the infantry and stuff all done, it's now time for me to move across to Black Templar. Now, these models do suffer, and I didn't talk about it in my last video, but lots of people ask questions about it. There is an issue with these miniatures with the kind of bolters kind of melding into the chest because they're single piece models. There's no gap between them. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. These are very tiny models and you get hundreds of them in a box. I would rather them be like this than be 3 or 4 or 5 part, multi-part, tiny little models. It's going to increase the price, less models in a box. I think the trick that I use to make sure that you don't really notice it is I use Black Templar for all of the weapons. So when I'm painting the weapon, I will also paint all of that negative space with the black as well. Whereas if someone came along with silver, for instance, and painted up the bolt gun, it's like, where do you stop painting silver between the torso and the gun? Or, if you paint the whole bit silver, then it's going to really, really noticeable. With the black, it covers all that in. It basically just blacks out the negative space. You don't notice it with the eye visually. And then you can go in a little bit later and add a little bit of silver to the model if you so choose. So jumping over to the tank, as you can see, those inner panels, I always tend to do them a different color when I'm painting Space Marines. I think it makes quite a bit of a difference. The entire sponson, including sponson shield, black, and all of the tracks and treads as well. Now I'm basing my Legions Imperialis models and armies on the siege itself. That's why I've chosen Imperial Fists and Sons of Horus, two of the most important factions. They're all pretty equally important in that particular battle. So I want my guys to be kind of gritty and dark. I can't, like I've said it before, I don't think the models for Legions Imperialis should be in any way, shape, or form pristine. These are not great Crusade era armies. These are the Horus Heresy Legions. They are at war with each other constantly. They have no time to get resupplied or repaired. Everything is kind of patchworked. So it is okay for things to not look 100% perfect. While I have the black on my palette, it's then of course time to jump across and start painting up these Justarians. So basically I painted the entire thing in the black paint minus the tassels that go down the front of his chest and around both shoulder pads. Those bits are the bits that I want to leave white. So as you can see, I am being quite careful. Got a small pointed brush and I'm being careful not to hit those kind of tassel-y parts because obviously they're going to be red. And the red contrast will not go over black very well, but it will go over the grey cedar beautifully. So we are going to take our time and be super careful with this and get this squad of Justarians. Although it's technically half a squad of Justarians, you can't take 5 mans for this. While I'm doing that, I'm going to take a moment to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Hobbies, an independent stockist here in Ireland. They are absolutely fantastic, and they are currently have the pre-orders for all the Legionnaires Astartes stuff that you want available to pre-order. So if you're in the market for some of these sets that I've been showing off this week, you want to order them up, you can pre-order them from their website, which is of course linked below. They have a huge variety of other kits, other paints, other tools, and other game systems available for purchase as well. They have an immense stock in their store, and they are updating and increasing that stock every single week. My favorite thing about them is if you spend over €60 and you live in Ireland, you can get next day delivery free of charge. Spend over €60, free next day delivery. It's absolutely immense, and it's something that I think is going to be super helpful for anyone out there who wants stuff for Christmas and you're worried you might not get it in time, or you need a few last minute bits, so on and so forth. This is the kind of service that will make a huge difference to alleviating the Christmas fears. So if you want to check out them, any of their other bits and pieces about them, like I said earlier, it is all linked in the description below. Go on and check them out, and let them know I sent you. So like I said, we are working on the Justaeran Terminators. And after we have done the black across the Terminator panels themselves, it is of course time to do some more detail to them. And for that, we are going to go across to the Blood Angels red contrast color. We're going to paint that on all the tassels like we talked about. Now, the Justaerans, I have often talked about the idea of how are they going to do specialist units in the Horus Heresy. There's a couple of them out there which won't just look like normal kind of units that they're already planning on selling. So I don't know whether you will get Legion specific units at any time. Obviously the Justaerans, which are the Cataphractic Terminators commanded by Abaddon, are a very elite unit. They're very well known in the story in the background. That is, of course, until they messed with the Imperial Fists at Saturnine Gate, but that's neither here nor there. So I do think they're a unit that you should spend a little bit more time on. Like I have another 3 sprues or 3 bases of Terminators to paint, and I'm very tempted to do them all as the Justaerans. So there's a nice big block of 20 Terminators led by, I hope at some stage to get my hands on a tiny little Abaddon or a tiny little Horus. That would be nice. After the red was applied, I jumped over and did some gold. Kind of spending a little bit more time on these guys because I want them to be kind of beautiful and stand outish as that elite unit. With the lead belcher then, it was time to do all the other bits and pieces. So for instance, the sword blade got done with a coat of silver. And then we talk about those bolters that I did with the black earlier on. So all I do for these is I paint the chain bayonets on the front of the bolters silver and the clips silver. Some of the barrel silver. That's it. The majority of it is all left black. But these few tiny bits of extra silver paint, once the whole model is washed, it will look really nice and help break apart everything. Like I said, these did not take a lot of time to paint. If someone said to me here, can you, like if I had a few bit of spare time this evening and I wanted to paint up the other 15 Terminators, I would not be kind of worried or hesitant to do it at all. I would start clipping them out and getting them sprayed straight away, knowing that I could bash them all out in kind of an hour and add another 15 Terminators painted to my Imperialis collection. With the silver paint as well, we use that to dry brush all the metallics and chipping damage across all the vehicles. So we're going to do this across the Predator. This will just add sharp lines to all the edges. And once again, still playing to the idea that this Predator has been driving across the blasted wastelands of Terra during the siege. It is not going to be pristine. I want it to look kind of chipped and damaged and broken. Same with the Contemptor here. And that's where this little light dry brush of silver really comes in, scratches the paint off of corners. And obviously dry brushing the silver over the black parts we've done just makes it look like gnarly silver and black paint. So it looks really good. So with all the base coats finally applied to the model, it's time to use Null Oil to shade them down. This is 50-50 water and Null Oil. You get quite a thin consistency, and it's just to add a little bit of shade and basically darken down all the recesses of these models. As you can see, once you jump across to the next model, you can see that there's very little difference in the shade. I'm not trying to stain the flat panels. I'm just trying to basically put some contrast or some shade into the recesses. This will obviously help all of the metallics, things like the black tassel parts on this will make a nice difference. And you will be left with quite a nice little result. Also, remember that contrast paints are, I don't know whether weaker is the right word when it comes to like protecting them. So I always find that an all over shade helps to, it's like varnishing them. It protects them from like rub damage and stuff, which I think is super important. Yeah, when I'm finished painting, the models pop off of these little wooden handles super easily, and then I can glue them straight onto the bases. I do love the basis scheme that I have done for my Imperialis stuff. I showed how I did it in my first video. If you are curious, you can go back. I'm not going to show it in every single Legions Imperialis video, although I am tempted to do a video based solely on bases for this guy, maybe show off 3 or 4 different schemes you could do with the designed bases that they give you. As you can see, they pop right off the lollipop sticks. I use a knife just to clean off the super glue that was already on their feet and glue them back down to their beautiful bases. And then behold my finished Sons of Horus squad of infantry. Like I said, I think they look fantastic. Super quick, super effective. I would have no problem painting up hundreds of these things in a day to really flesh out a Sons of Horus army. Of course, the Just Terran Terminators are next. And once again, I think these guys turned out great. And I think if you saw a sea of green, then you saw this knot of like 4 bases of 5 Terminators like this, you would, you know, like gulp what happened in your throat. You start to worried about what you're fighting here. On to the Contemptor next. I love tiny Contemptors. I love Contemptors in general. But that little dry burst of silver really helped to pick out the details. Once again, a talent of these guys painted in this scheme, I think would suit me down to the ground. It's something I could see myself doing and adding to the force. And the first of 6 Predators that these guys will also receive. Like I said, I do like the messy aesthetic, the idea of it being on campaign for 6, 7, 8 years that the Horus Heresy's been going on for. A few high resolution images to finish off the reveal. These are kind of difficult models to take photographs of. I haven't had the best success with photographing them because they're so tiny. I definitely need to get some sort of higher quality or higher zoom lens. But maybe I don't want to show the models that I painted under a higher zoom lens. This distance I think is fine for things like Contemptor and the tank. I'm really happy with how they turned out. And then to finish it off, I lined up a couple of my Sons of Horus against a couple of my Imperial Fists just to show you guys what they will look like kind of on a tabletop. You can be the judge as to whether my progress so far on my 2 Legions is looking well. I think it looks pretty cool. So much more to come, and I hope you guys are excited for it as I am. Okay guys, and there we have it. I think I have succeeded in my goal and I've managed to get these miniatures painted up the way I wanted to, and I feel like I'm going to paint up at least a Legion's worth of models with the Sons of Horus as well. I definitely want Imperial Fists v Sons of Horus as my 2 main factions in the game, so I'm going to continue on with what I've done so far and flesh it out to a full force. Hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please show your support. Give the video a like, ask me any questions you want in the comments below. Those comments can be things like, I would love to see how White Scars are done, or how World Leaders are done, or how Death Guard are done. I can do a very similar video to this, showing you a whole kind of plethora of units to make it as easy as possible. So if that's something you're looking for, please let me know in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I've got quite an epic goal of trying to get 40,000 subscribers by the end of 2023, so please help me out and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.